as the beginner who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. And that's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now are the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
Why are investors listening to Phil Grandy of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners or shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
We know the economy has been resilient, led by the consumer focusing on and spending in services, which is 70% of consumption, right? Manufacturing, not great, but pockets are actually very good.
And so we are seeing the economy achieve, as I said, that soft landing. Financial assets are relatively stable, and underlying economic trends are continuing to heal.
So, Ed, are you calling mission accomplished here? Do you think this is, we're out of the woods for any kind of hard landing, despite some of the headwinds we were just talking about?
Yeah, I think it's mission accomplished.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable, the line that goes on. You think there is a swamp. I always say this in Washington. There's a bigger swamp on Wall Street. The lying is just pathetic. I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, where you're going to get the truth. You know, all we do is we keep hearing this garbage. None of it's true. You know what the real problem is? Most people have no idea what QE is. Everybody for 14 years has been hearing QE. Nobody knows what it is. They think it's an ice cream cone. They'd have no idea. Well, I want to explain what QE is and how you've been getting screwed for 14 years. It was designed to screw Main Street for 14 years to bail out the richest 1% in 2008 after the crash. It's the equivalent of people going over to the life rafts, men going to the life rafts and throwing all the women out of the life rafts on the Titanic, also throwing the children out, the old and disabled out, and they get in and take off. That's what QE is. But no one's going to tell you the truth. 2008, that's the same thing. They threw everybody under the bus on Main Street. QE is a con game. QE, they used QE as the last resort. QE is a confidence game. It's a Hail Mary pass. It's placing the economy on life support. In other words, QE only occurs when the Fed has done everything, tried everything to turn the economy around after the crash in 2008. And we just didn't have 2008. We had 4 QEs because the economy is so bad. And what QE is to save the richest 1%. That's all QE is. It was designed to do that. It's designed to do that. And the problem with QE, what people don't understand, is bringing interest rates down to 0. To do that, you got to print trillions and trillions of dollars. That's where the inflation comes from. Remember, inflation comes from money printing. And after the 2008 crash, $8 trillion was wiped out. The richest 1% wanted, as I said yesterday, claw back their wealth. And they did that by throwing you, Main Street, under the bus. But when they came up with QE, Bernanke and the Obama administration, they lied to you. That's why QE is a confidence game. They said, look, QE is going to be a good thing. We're going to drop interest rates to 0. You can now go buy a car that you never could afford before. See, again, a confidence game to give you confidence. You can go buy a car. You can buy a home that you couldn't afford before without having wages going up. But behind that, everybody was snickering and saying what they don't realize is, yeah, they can buy a house now, they can buy a car now, but they're going to pay for that dearly down the road when it's over, when it's finished, and we can't do QE anymore because QE creates massive inflation. And I get a kick out of this. They keep telling us, oh, everything's going to be okay. We're going to have a soft landing now. Don't worry about it. Everything's a soft landing. In fact, what they're telling people is we're going to go back to QE. We're going to pivot back to QE. We got people buying stocks, what I call tourist investors, who are buying stocks that are so overvalued, but they don't care because they think everything's going to be okay because we're going to go pivot back to low rates, back to 0 rates. No, we can't get there. And we're never going to get back to 2%. Because the inflation that was created to save the richest 1% from 2008 to November 2022, remember that whole deal, 2008 to 2022, was to benefit the richest 1%. But they were able to create a story that Main Street was doing well too, because you could buy a house that you never could afford before. But here's what they didn't tell you. The inflation to create all this printing of money to buy treasuries, to bring interest rates down low so you could buy a car you never could afford before, you can buy a house you never could afford before, you're going to pay for that. You're going to lose that car, you're going to lose that house at the end of the day. Because once they stop, it's like a shark, stop swimming, you're screwed. So they knew the first day they did QE in 2008, you were the sap. You were going to get screwed. And that's what's happening right now. So now they're saying, oh, they're going to go back to QE. You can't go back to QE because the massive amount of inflation that was created through QE from 2008 to 2022 is so massive, this inflation, it's impossible to go do QE again. You can't. It's a lie. They can't drop rates again down to 0 because here's what they did. They never, when this inflation was going up and up and up because of all this QE, all the printing of money to keep interest rates low, to bail out the rich, because remember what the rich wanted. They wanted all this printing of money. They wanted, from 2008 to 2022, the more they printed money, the more inflation, the richer they got. Because remember, the richest 1% don't get wealthy off of wages. They're not on wages like you and me. They're wealthy because their assets go up. We talked about this yesterday. So here they were using you, making you think you are living great, that you live like you never lived before. You get 2 cars now because interest rates are so low. But they were getting richer and richer, and they were clawing back all the value they lost. They're clawing back all that $8 trillion they lost. And now you're going to pay for it. And you are paying for it with higher gasoline prices, with higher food prices, with grocery prices going up. Groceries, including beef, is still up 19% from the day that Biden got into office. So stop listening to these people on these TV shows that are telling you everything's going to be fine. No, QE is only used when everything else fails. When the Federal Reserve goes into the little tool bag after a crash, after the economy is destroyed, and they take that tool bag and they use all the tools and none of them work. The very last tool they use is QE. And they call it a confidence game because what they do is they mask what's going on because rates are so low by printing all this money to buy treasury, get interest rates down to create inflation to enrich the 1%. And because you can go buy a car and that house and everything you want because rates are low, you got confidence to go do that. But you don't understand the truth. You're gonna pay for all that, and you're paying for it now. It's a Hail Mary pass. That's all it is. When you do QE, it's placing the economy on life support. It's like life support. So to believe now and to be in there buying stocks today at the valuations they are thinking that tomorrow they're going to come out with this great, this low inflation tomorrow, which they will. People think, well, everything's okay. No, it's not. The market is going to go down 48 to 50%.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand. Especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
What, are you nuts? If the stock market can make you so rich, especially Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon and the rest, why are so many Americans poor? If the 401k promises you a retirement, then why is it we are in a retirement crisis? Here's the answer. Because 85% of you get out of the market too late. I fixed that with my color-coded chart, which tells you when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out. That's right, when to run like hell. Check it out. You get a free membership and the free color-coded chart for 10 days. Check it out, philsgang.com.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform, no matter what level of investor you are. Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action, avoid market pitfalls, and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com. The feds have raised interest rates again. And AI is the topic of the day. No matter what the financial headlines are, be a successful investor with Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Take advantage of the free 10-day trial for the Working Investor Program. Phil Grandy has put together the tools you need to understand the stock market, with full access to the Phil's Gang website and access to Phil's Pro 2 color-coded charting software. Know with confidence when to buy, sell, and short a stock. Members also have access to Coffee Talk. Every morning at 8:30 Eastern, Phil Grandy talks about what's happening on Wall Street that day. Want to be a better investor? Then take advantage of the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com. You'll find many more features and tools for the working investor. After the trial, it's just $59.95 a month for membership. Invest with the best. Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grandy. Simply go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Going back to Phil's Gang, here's what is unbelievable. The fake business network is saying this, and people believe it. If I can find it for you. There it is.
We know the economy has been resilient.
And so we are seeing the economy achieve, as I said, that soft landing.
That's a bold-faced lie. First of all, the U.S. is experiencing the largest economic downturn since the recession, since the Great Recession. Corporate defaults are up a record 53%, because remember, they borrowed all of this money at zero rates. And why were they at zero rates? To help the economy? No. In 2008, after the crash, remember, in 2008, after the crash, using all of their tools, they took their tool bag, pulled all the tools out, nothing worked. So the richest 1% who control the Federal Reserve, and they control everything, said, we're going to bail ourselves out. Let's do QE. We'll bail ourselves out. Let's create massive inflation by printing money. Buy treasuries, get interest rates down. And Main Street will think we're doing it for them, and we'll tell them we're doing it for them. And they can go buy a house. They can go buy a car. They can feel good. But what we're not going to tell them, once we stop with QE, they're going to lose that house. They're going to lose their job, first of all, because everybody's going to get laid off. They're going to lose the house. They're going to lose their car. It was temporary. That's all it was temporary. And when they started out with QE, it was only supposed to be 8 months to a year. 8 months to a year this scam was supposed to go on. Remember how they told everybody? Obama and Bernanke, oh, this is temporary. This is just going to be for a year. And all the benefits are going to drip down to the worker on Main Street. Remember that lie? Well, now is coming home. And people are going to lose their homes, they're going to lose their cars, they're going to lose their jobs, but nobody wants to talk about that. That's what's going on. What's going on? All you got to do is be in the right stocks, though. If you're in the right stocks, if you know how to sell short, you're going to be fine. You got to know how to buy a stock, go long as we call it in the industry, and go short. And you'll be fine. It doesn't matter. Now, think about this. How are we going to be fine when the government keeps spending $2 trillion more than it takes in? How are we fine when we have historic, corporate debt? And don't forget the consequences we're getting from Bidenomics. We have now some of the largest deficits ever, largest inflation ever, largest net loss. If this United States government was a company and was being audited by accountants, they would have to sign them off as not a going concern. Our United States government as a business lost a net $1.2 trillion last year. We had the largest negative net worth. Our country is at a negative, not positive, negative net worth of minus 20 trillion. We have the largest national debt effort. We're almost now at 32 trillion. The largest interest debt payment ever, 600 billion. I could go on and on. So when they come on and tell you this,
we know the economy has been resilient.
I get grumpy. All right. So to understand what's going on here, okay? They've been taking parking space in our heads now, telling us everything's going to be fine, that there's not going to be a recession, that we are now in a Goldilocks-like economy, soft landing. Here, listen, this is what he's saying. He's saying, listen to what he's saying about a soft landing. Just a total lie.
And so we are seeing the economy achieve, as I said, that soft landing.
What is he, nuts? What's he, nuts? A soft landing? And they're telling us inflation's contracting. No, it's not. Now, tomorrow we're going to come out with an inflation number. They're going to rig it so it looks like it's contracting. Everybody's going to get all excited, right? And start buying these stocks that are overpriced. Do you realize what people are doing? They're so confident that the government's going to save us by dropping interest rates back to zero. We're going to be saved again. Investors, especially tourists, are buying stocks with valuations that are insane. They are buying stocks that have historically a PE ratio of, let's say, 17, and they're buying those stocks at 21. At 21. They don't care because they think they're going to be okay. Now, someone says, well, 17 to 21, that's not bad. Oh, yes, it is. That's terrible. 17 to 21, that's awful. Doesn't sound like much, the difference. But that's like building a bridge 3 miles long and you missed it by 2.5 miles. That's huge. So the Fed is tightening our money supply. You're not going to, listen what I'm telling you. We're not going to go back to 2%. Forget that target, 2%. You're not going to see that again in your lifetime. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So the Fed is tightening the supply, the money supply, right? That's put us in a recession. We're already in a recession. When you do that, we're in a recession. So how can things be good? How can the economy be resilient? How can we be in a soft landing? Now think about what money supply is. Money supply is, let's take the cash that's in your checking account, in savings, in stocks and other investments you got. And there's about $21 trillion in money supply. Now, Biden is tightening the money supply. What's that mean? That means he's not going to, remember, he prints money, gives it to the banks, and the banks lend it out. Well, no more are they lending it out. They're tightening that part of the money supply. So your money supply is not going to grow. That 21 trillion is not going to grow. So that means we're going into a recession if we're not already there. And remember, Powell's been increasing the money supply faster than the economy's ability to increase productivity. Our productivity is down. It's down. That alone is a recession. But nobody wants to tell you the truth. Okay, when we get back, we're going to take a look at some of our stocks. The market is down.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And the Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Are you tired of being lied to about some magical economic recovery that only benefits the 1%? And then when the market does collapse, you're sitting there calling your broker, what do I do? When you should be shorting? Learn how to short the market. Continue to listen to my radio show, philsgang.com. Become a member, only $39.95 a month, and learn how to short.
Don't wait. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. When the stock market is volatile, how do you invest intelligently?
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. There's no need for you to be panicking in a market that goes up 800 points one day, 700 points, then it goes down again. All you need is good advice, need good direction. You don't get that from your CNBC and the Fox Business and all these crazy shows. You don't. Here's what you get from them. Thank you, Jim Cramer. But this is something that this really bugs me. Listen to this.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What? Their responsibility is to their partners and shareholders and not to you? Check my site out, philsgang.com.
When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need the experience of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
What a difference it makes in your financial life. philsgang.com. It works.
Why are investors listening to Phil Grandy of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, it's like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up, or why there's continued inflation, or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. You're not a regular listener to Phil's Gang? What, are you nuts? Listen to Phil Grandy and check out philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. If you're chasing these tech stocks, I'll give you an example. On Friday, I told my members oil stocks were up about 22% in our oil stocks. I said, let's start taking profits. This was Friday. And don't get out totally, just take some profits, because I feel there's going to be a rotation. I thought that they'd be rotating, okay, out of these oil stocks going into tech on the lie that the Fed is going to turn around and pivot back to quantitative easing, back to zero rates. Now, that lie was created by the fake Business News Network. Remember, that's their lie. And people fell for that. So Apple is an example. I told them, do not chase Apple. And what happened? People started to chase Apple on August 29th. It went up. That was on that was Tuesday. Then went up on Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's given it all back, every bit of it back. So people who bought that on the emotion, you lost money. But my members didn't lose money. And then even the other day, if you take on Thursday last week, they started to buy it again. I said, don't buy it. And then they went up Thursday, went up Friday, went up Monday, and now it's giving it all back. Remember what QE is. Profits without prosperity. These tech stocks are going up without earnings. Without earnings. They're speculative. They're speculative. Everybody's buying these tech stocks. They don't care if they make money. That's what's pushing them up. So we made sure we got into the oil stocks when they were at their low. Once the oil stocks dropped 35%, said, let's buy them. These tech stocks are only going to go lower. Remember, this market is going to go lower because, as I told you, we have a temporary delay in this crash. What's saving them, or not saving them, delaying it, is the Emergency Bank Term Funding Program. Banks are running to the window of the Fed and they're getting money to try to stay alive. They got to pay that money back in March, as I told you, but nothing's going to change between now and March. Things are going to get worse. And then the Federal Reserve, Powell's doing stealth QE. As I said, he takes interest income from his balance sheets and he goes in and buys treasuries and tries to get the yields down so to prop up the tech stock so you'll chase Apple. You'll chase Microsoft. Well, while you were chasing Apple and Microsoft, we were buying oil. And then we started to short, then we were shorting the bank stocks. And then we also were shorting the travel stocks, the airlines. Everybody was chasing these tech stocks. They're going to get rich. Everybody, all they want to do is buy Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. It's amazing how people get sucked into those. Well, we were selling short the cruise lines, 2 of them. We were short, Alaska Airline. We were short. We were short Dell. What other one were we short? Another couple of those stocks, travel stocks. So the false narrative that, remember, the fake Business News Network has put you into a false narrative. It puts you into a hope mode that inflation is contracting and the Fed will pivot back to rate cuts. and we'll pivot back to QE, which is impossible to do. Impossible, because there's already too much inflation. What are they going to do, add inflation to inflation? People don't understand what QE is. That's the sad part of this. Nobody ever explains to you what QE is. I tried to explain it to you here about a half hour ago. You know, QE is nothing more than it's a con game. It's a confidence game. They only use QE, remember, when everything else doesn't work. And when everything else doesn't work, the richest 1% who control everything, who control the Fed, get themselves out through QE. But they con Main Street by telling them, look, interest rates are going to be very, very low now. You can go buy your car. You can go buy a home. But what they don't tell you, when the game is over, when QE is over with, you're going to get back the house, you're going to get back the car because you're not going to have your job. They don't tell you this. And to say that we're not going to have a recession, the Fed's been tightening the money supply, that's putting us into a recession. What are they talking about? We're not going to go into recession. What are they talking about? Powell has been increasing the money supply faster than the economy's ability to increase productivity. Our productivity is down big time. Our manufacturing is down for 14 years. Our productivity is down. It's below that 50, that magic mark at 50. That's leading us into inflation, into a recession. And remember, when Powell's been increasing the money supply, printing all this money, and then giving it to the banks so they can go long, but no more now. Now they're tightening it. That money supply, he was increasing the money supply at a slower rate than he should have been. So that means we didn't have economic growth. You see, all of this wasn't for economic growth. All of this was to get the rich richer. So that's why it's important for you to follow where the money is going in stocks. You just don't listen. There's more stocks out there than tech stocks. If you just join our gang free for 10 days, you're going to learn how to sell short. You're going to learn how to buy a stock. And you're going to have a color-coded chart, like no other chart, that tells you when the money is going in, when the money is going out. So everybody, again, if you start looking at, I'm going to go through these with you right now. If you take, like right here, if you stay with the same 6 stocks in this kind of a market, the same 6 stocks, you know how to go long and short. That's all you need is 6 stocks. And you can short the ones that are going down and go long the ones that go up. You got total control. Once you get outside of those 6 stocks, you lose control. You lose control. So, again, let's go take, like one of our bonus stocks is Microsoft. It's got a head and shoulders right now. I wouldn't be buying Microsoft. What are you, nuts? I wouldn't. Microsoft's right now at 332. I wouldn't buy Microsoft until it got above 363. Because between 332 and 363, there's all kinds of sellers. Why would I want to go buy that? I got to fight my way from 332 up to 360? That's called overhang. Why would I do that? Instead, what we did is we went and bought oil because there's no overhang. Oil right now is at 70 USO. One of our oil stocks is $79.81. We bought it when it was at $64. So we went from $64 to $79. And the beautiful thing is when we add to it, as the market's going down today, the NASDAQ's down 141 points, the Dow's down 23 points, the S&P is down 29 points. But guess what? Oil is going up. That's called relative strength. That's why we bought oil. It has relative strength. That's where your money should be, but what are you doing? People keep on chasing Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, think they're going to get rich. No, you're not. So if you're looking at my chart right now, if you're following me on YouTube channel, or Rumble, or Apple, you see this right here, USO? This is the oil. This is where we got in, right here. My color-coded chart turned green, right there. It's up about 23% right now. 23%. See how it stayed green? Tell us to stay in. The money's still going in. And today it's going up even more. So why would I want to buy Apple? But everybody's in there buying Apple yesterday, and today's down. Today is down. Another good stock, good oil stock that we've been buying has been a refiner. I'll talk about that refiner when we get back. Join my gang free for 10 days. You're going to have fun, and you're going to learn how the market works. Check it out, philsgang.com.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
You're not alone. 80% of those in the stock market, just like you, lose money. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Why do they lose? Because they don't know how to short stocks in down market. That will change once you use my patent Pro 2 color-coded chart. It works. The technology works. And it not only gives you an edge on the upside, but Pro 2 will put a smile on your face on the downside. That's right. Check it out. Free 10-day trial at philsgang.com.
Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially in the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You can be a successful investor in the stock market by knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy the stock. Then you have two people on the show. One guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right, follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals, you follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color code chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works.
There's a lot of noise out there in the financial world. Bank failures, interest rates, bonds versus stocks. It's a lot. That's why it's important to find a voice of reason that can guide you through these volatile times. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com is where you can find honest, helpful guidance to successful investing.
Get the knowledge and understand how the market really works.
And for a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join my gang. Go to philsgang.com. And there's a link right there. You'll see it. Get started. Click onto that. And for 10 days, you'll be a free member. You have a membership free. And you get my color-coded chart. You learn how to use that to buy and sell short. You're going to learn how to sell short in 10 days. What's wrong with that? It doesn't cost you a thing. Check it out. Now, here's another lie. Listen to this.
And so we are seeing the economy achieve, as I said, that soft landing.
They can't achieve a soft landing. It's a bold-faced lie. No landing can be soft when oil prices are going up. That's right. Ask anybody. Look it up. Any commodity prices going up, you can't have a soft landing. It prevents a soft landing. So that's another bold-faced lie. That's why you got to follow the money. You got to follow the money. Follow it. So the Fed, remember, every time they tell you they're trying to spur growth after a crisis like in 2008, remember we had the mortgage crisis? And what do? They print money instead of increasing productivity. Now understand what I'm saying. If you want to grow the economy, the worst thing to do is to go print money. Because by printing money, you're creating incredible inflation. So you say, well, why do they do that? I explained earlier. Because their job is to take care of the owners of the Federal Reserve, the 1 percentile. If we didn't have those owners, they would have never printed money in 2008 to go in and buy treasuries to drop interest rates to zero, because they want that inflation from that printing. So the richest 1%, they always want that printing. They want the Fed to keep printing money. So that's inflationary. And then all these richest 1%, their assets start going up. Their vineyards they own starts going up in value. Everything, their diamonds go up in value. All the assets they have go up in value. See, they don't get paychecks. So when they tell you in an effort to spur economic growth, we're going to do QE, we're going to drop interest rates, that's a bold-faced lie. That means they got to print money to go buy treasuries to drop interest rates. Every time they print money, inflation goes up, benefiting the rich, screwing Main Street. But Main Street doesn't get that. You know why? Because at that time, with interest rates so low, they can go buy a car that they couldn't buy before, or a house that they couldn't buy before, or a boat they couldn't buy before. And then after 2008, remember, there was 4 other QEs, 4 other. It's not because the economy was doing good. We had a 2008 QE, and then in 2010, the economy was ready to crash again, the market. So they went in 2010, and Barack Obama and Bernanke told us this is a good thing because we're going to create all this money, we're going to print all this money, we're going to get interest rates down. You can go buy a house with a mortgage rate of 2.3% or 3%. We're going to do you can go buy a car. When he should have said, here's what we're doing. We're going to go print all this money because we're in deep doo-doo. So we're going to print this money, but I wouldn't go buy a car just because the interest rates are cheaper, buy a house because you're going to end up giving both back. Because the inflation I'm creating is for one purpose. It's not to help you, Main Street. It's to help my richest 1% who put me in office, who run the Federal Reserve. So they love inflation. So all that printing of money is inflationary. They're going to print. Now, someone should say, well, why are you doing that? Why don't you just forget the 1 percentile? Stop printing all this money, creating inflation. Yeah, I get it. I can buy a car and a house, but I'm just borrowing it because I got to give it back at the end. Like now, their car payments are behind and homes are under foreclosure now. You eventually give it back. See, the way you grow an economy is to increase jobs, is to increase. If they took that money, instead of buying treasuries to drop interest rates down, if they took that money, gave it to small businesses to buy new equipment, new machinery, also give it to new startup businesses, give it to older businesses for machinery and equipment to increase productivity, to increase jobs, to increase wages, to increase savings, we wouldn't be where we are today. So QE is destructive. Nobody talks about it. It's destructive. Why do you think They call it a confidence game because it gives people confidence in the economy to go spend. And Obama should have said, no, don't go spend. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Instead of doing that, I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to take this money that we're printing, I'm going to give it to startup businesses, I'm going to give it to small existing businesses so they can buy new equipment, new machinery, new plants, and guess what? And they'll start hiring people. We start producing products. We start selling those products. That's when you get a good economy. We haven't had a good economy in 14 years. Yeah, but we had a great stock market in 14 years. One of the best stock markets. We went up 1,200% in the NASDAQ 100 in 14 years. 1,200%. It would have been nice if someone else besides me told the folks, I know you got your car, your house, you're going to lose it all. They're screwing you. There should have been buses and buses and buses down at the White House screaming, what are you doing? Why are you doing QE? Yeah, your interest rates are going down. It's not helping me out because inflation's going up. And I'm not making, and inflation is growing faster than my paycheck. But they got what they call the fake business news networks. CNN, right? Bloomberg's. Fox Business, their job is to con you. Their job is to make sure you feel confident, you feel good. And that's how they get away with this. Otherwise, there'd be busloads down at the White House, down at the Capitol, screaming and yelling. They should have been taking Obama and putting him in jail. Bernanke, same thing. Everything they did wasn't for the people. But the Democrats keep saying, oh, but we're here to take care of the people. We're here to take care of them. Open the border. We're going to take care of the little people. That's our job. And on the other hand, they kept on screwing Main Street. Go ahead, buy another car. Buy another house. Like interest rates are 2.3%. Go ahead, buy it. Inflation keeps going up. Inflation keeps going up. Then all of a sudden, boom, you hit that wall like where we are right now. And if you know how to sell short, you're going to be in great shape. Because when you sell short, when this market starts dropping, it's going to go down at least 48%. It's going to go right back to the 2020 lows. That was the pandemic. When we had that pandemic sell-off, they blamed it on pandemic. It wasn't a pandemic. It's because they raised rates from 1.6% to 2.8%, and the market dropped. Every time they kept the 10-year Treasury yield from 2008 to November 2022, the market, as long as they kept that yield, 1%, 1.6% or lower, the market kept going up. Every time they raised it above the 1.6%, we had 3 corrections. So they go right back to zero. And don't forget, what I'm telling you, there's not going to be any zero rates anymore. We're not going to be any QE anymore. We're not going to go back to inflation of 2%, the target, anymore. Because 2008, 2010, 2012, 2020, all of those were QEs. All of those, every time they did 2008, 2010, 2012, 2020, there should have been buses again down at the White House. So what are you doing to me? What are you doing? You're just helping the richest 1%. But see, people didn't know that. And as long as they saw Apple going up, as long as they saw Microsoft going up, and Meta and Nvidia all going up, they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. Don't tell me this. I don't want to hear what you're saying. I'm getting rich in Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. Look, it keeps going up. It's easy. But all those people who bought those stocks, giving it all back. So stop giving it back. Join our gang for 10 days. It's free. Learn how to sell short. Understand how important it is to know what the yields are doing. See, when you look at the bond market, the yields, anybody could do it. You could take someone in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, you could teach them the yield market. It's easy. It's on a simple chart, and when that line goes down, when that yield goes down, that's a good thing. Yield goes up, it's a bad thing. You know, trading stocks, investing stocks are not difficult. What is difficult is getting the truth out of Wall Street. But we give you the truth here, the Phil's Gang. Myself, Steve, Willie will help you. Join the gang team, philsgang.com.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.